Sit back for this Omni-Fi original. What if the one thing that could save the galaxy was the one thing every other species wanted to eliminate?
Conclave station hummed with the gentle thrum of 7 species trying to coexist. In the human diplomatic chamber, Ambassador Elias Morse paced like a caged predator, his expensive suit doing little to hide the tension coiling through him. Outside the reinforced viewport, a Vex-Carry delegation materialized in their crystalline formation, their light refracting through the station's artificial sun. "They've called the motion," Morse said, not bothering to turn. "Revocation of voting rights. And they have the votes." Captain Elena Vasquez leaned against the wall, arms crossed, her scar catching the light. "Which means we've done something spectacularly stupid." She wasn't wrong. The frontier was chaos by design, humanity's chaotic design. And now, that chaos had caught up to them. Morse finally stopped pacing, facing her. "We need to show them why that chaos matters." Elena cracked a rare smile. "Oh, I know exactly how to do that." The Conclave Council chamber was a masterpiece of compromise. Each species had its own section built in their architectural style, yet somehow it all worked together. The Vex-Carry section was smooth, flowing curves of crystal that seemed to think themselves into existence. The Sylphari area featured living vines woven into intricate patterns. The Kren section was solid, carved stone benches arranged in descending order of importance. And the human section? A jury-rigged collection of folding chairs and a borrowed table, decorated with a hastily printed banner that read "Humans, here for the chaos." Ambassador Morse stood at the human podium, sweating despite the station's perfect climate control. Elena stood at his shoulder, radiating calm. Morse cleared his throat. "Esteemed members of the Conclave, I stand before you today to address concerns regarding human conduct in the frontier." A Sylphari delegate hissed softly, their wings fluttering in agitation. "Concerns? We have evidence. Proof of destabilizing behavior." The room tensed. This was not how you won friends and influenced people.
Caliph sat in the Vex-Carry delegation, their crystalline skin shifting nervously between shades of blue and green. They had been assigned to observe human behavior, not participate in this confrontation. Yet here they were, drawn to the chaos like a moth to a flame. The Sylphari spokesperson, Lyra, floated forward, her wings creating a soft breeze that carried the scent of night-blooming flowers. "Evidence is not merely anecdotal," she said, her voice like wind chimes. "In the last standard year, human actions in the frontier sector have caused 17 species to reconsider their allegiances, disrupted trade routes that had functioned for millennia, and created 3 new political entities that did not exist before." She paused for dramatic effect. "This is not progress. This is entropy." Calitha's skin flashed bright red, a Vex-Carry reaction to strong emotion. "But entropy creates new forms," they found themselves thinking, though they kept the thought to themselves. The other Vex-Carry delegates would not approve.
Morse's knuckles were white where he gripped the podium. "My colleagues present a compelling case," he began, already losing. Elena stepped forward, her presence filling the space despite her smaller stature. "With respect, Ambassador Morse is missing the point." All eyes turned to her. The Kren delegates rumbled in approval, they appreciated directness. "Yes, humans create chaos," Elena continued, her voice calm but carrying. "We destabilize. We disrupt. We break things." She paused, letting the accusation hang in the air. "But what happens when the established order becomes comfortable? When problems are accepted because they've always been there?" She gestured toward the Orani delegates, who had been observing in contemplative silence. "The Orani have records of civilizations that became too comfortable. They stagnated. They died. Not with a bang, but with a whimper." The room fell silent. Even the Sylphari stopped fluttering their wings. Caliph couldn't contain themselves any longer. "But entropy has consequences," they said, their voice cutting through the silence. All heads turned toward the young Vexcari. The destruction of established systems may create new forms, but it also causes loss. Their skin shifted to a deep purple, a color associated with regret in Vexcari culture. We have calculated the outcomes of human behavior in the frontier. The probability of beneficial outcomes is 32%. The probability of neutral outcomes is 28%. The probability of harmful outcomes is 40%. Elena smiled, a genuine, warm expression that transformed her face. Those are the odds of trying something new, she said. Not of standing still. Kalitha's crystalline skin flickered, processing. The other Vexcari delegates remained still, their thoughts moving at glacial speed compared to their young counterparts' rapid processing. The assembly delegates, a cluster of small insectoid beings, began releasing pheromones that created a low, buzzing sound throughout the chamber. Their collective voice was like the hum of 1,000 tiny wings. Probability calculations are insufficient, they communicated. We have experienced systems failure at 97% probability of success. We have witnessed stability emerge from chaos at 5% probability. Probability is not wisdom. Elena nodded. Exactly. She turned to the Kren delegates, who had been watching with growing interest. Your people value strength, yes? Not just physical strength, but mental and moral? The lead Kren delegate, Threx, rumbled in acknowledgement. Then you understand that which does not challenge us does not make us stronger. The Orani delegates shifted their massive bodies, their ancient eyes gleaming with understanding. They had seen empires rise and fall, species flourish and perish. They knew the value of disruption. Lyra the Sylphari drifted forward, her wings now still. You speak of strength, she said, her voice softer now. But you speak of it as if it were an end in itself. The bioweave understands balance. Growth within limits. Elena met her gaze. Limits are for those who fear what lies beyond them. She paused. Let me tell you about a species called the Zephyrians. They existed in a pocket of space they believed was all there was. They had perfect balance. Perfect harmony. For 10,000 years, they maintained their equilibrium. Elena's voice dropped. Then a human ship, lost and damaged, stumbled into their space. The Zephyrians panicked. They attacked. The humans, with their primitive technology and chaotic thinking, did something the Zephyrians never had, they adapted. They innovated. They survived. The room was utterly silent now. The Zephyrians are gone, Elena finished. But because of that disruption, 17 new species have emerged from the chaos they left behind. Including my own people.
Kalitha's skin had shifted to a brilliant gold, the color of revelation in Vexcari culture. The Weaver, my mentor, speaks of patterns across millennia, they said, their voice trembling with the speed of their thoughts. Human chaos creates ripples. Unpredictable ripples that reach across time and space in ways we cannot calculate. They turned to the other Vexcari delegates. Perhaps entropy is not the enemy. Perhaps it is, fertilizer. The word felt strange in their mouth, borrowed from human terminology. The ancient Vexcari delegates remained motionless, but their crystalline skin began to shift colors, a sign of internal debate. Threx the Kren stood up, his massive frame dwarfing the human podium as he approached it. The humans have challenged us, he rumbled. They have fought beside us. They have died for causes that were not their own. Their chaos is honorable. He turned to face the full council. I vote to keep them at the table. One by one, delegates began to stand in support.
The vote was taken, and the results announced. Humanity would keep their seat at the conclave table. As the chamber emptied, Elena found Morse leaning against a wall, his relief palpable. I didn't think we had it, he admitted. Elena smiled. Nobody ever does until it happens. Caliph approached them, their crystalline skin now a calm, thoughtful blue. Your argument was chaotic, they said. But it resonated. Elena laughed. What else would you expect? As they walked through the human section of the station, Caliph stopped to examine a small human artifact, a child's drawing of a spaceship, crude but full of energy. You create meaning from chaos, they said, genuinely curious. How? Elena looked at the drawing, then at the stars visible through the viewport. Because we have to, she said simply. The universe doesn't give meaning. It just is. She paused. We make the meaning. And with that, they walked into the future, chaos trailing in their wake like a comet's tail.